Susceptible to influence: the impact of female representation in film on young women's identities. Starring Deshira Wright and Daniela Valdez. Despite some strides in recent years, the progress in representing women within film has been tempered by persisting disparities. For instance, there has only been a modest 3% in female employment in the top 250 highest grossing films since 1998, Roque 214. Early cinema often portrayed women as housewives, caretakers, or damsels in distress. Over time, especially during World War II, films began showing women's independence. Today, female directors and more complex female characters are reshaping those old stereotypes. Powerful female leads can alter perceptions of women in power, signaling a change in the culture. Akhtar and Rasul 1. Superheroines like Storm or Mystique are physically strong, athletic, confident, and intelligent. Characteristics that are counter-stereotypical for female characters. Panal and Bahim Moratz 212. Female representation in film shapes young women's self-perception, body esteem, and understanding of gender roles. On-screen portrayals are a significant influence on identity development.
Of standing for or in the place of a person, group, or thing. In related sense, self-identity, the set of quality or characteristics that give a person his or her own individuality. In relation to social or cultural context, the perception or recognition of this quality or characteristic.
Early representation of women in cinema spanned the 1900s to 1930s and continue today in 2026. We start to see more progressive female representation during the World War II era, showcasing women's independence.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me? Hi.
You're still dressed.
Yes.
Anything wrong?
Everything's wonderful, but I told you zippers would throw me.
May I help?
Thank you.
I'm a maid in the morning.
Will she be old and ugly?
Those are your orders.
I think that's good business, to surround yourself with ugly women and beautiful men.
Yeah.
Number 1143. I was always in the kitchen. I felt as though I'd been born in a kitchen and lived there all my life, except for the few hours it took to get married. That you, Bert?
Yeah, who else?
I thought it might be Mrs. Whitley calling for a cake.
Well, it isn't.
I married Bert when I was 17. I never knew any other kind of life, just cooking and washing and having children. 2 girls, Vida and Kay. I pressed you the pepper.
Female representation can also empower. Strong on-screen women can inspire confidence and expand young women's sense of potential, promoting gender equality. Research shows women in U.S. action films are often exploited rather than empowered. Media has long been recognized as an agent of socialization. Gilpatrick 735. The way women are shown on screen influences how audiences think about gender and power. Gilpatrick notes that traditional roles label women as weak, while Aubrey adds, these superheroine characters are often portrayed wearing tight, body-revealing clothing and using their sexuality to get what they want. Aubrey 214. Together, these views show a double standard. Women are either too fragile to lead or too powerful only because they are desirable. A girl watching a Marvel film might see the male hero in armor while the female hero fights in heels and a corset, learning that appearance matters more than ability. These portrayals don't just affect fiction, they shape the real world. Hollywood salary data shows that male actors earn 1.5 more times for similar roles than female actors. After adjusting for confounding factors such as production budgets, movies with more female representation tend to have smaller budgets and earn less money. Lender 3. This bias limits women's chances of directing or starring in major films. Social identity theory suggests that people are more likely to choose movies that portray their own group in a positive light. Weaver 5. When women are shown as emotional or dependent, audiences internalize these patterns and reinforcing inequality. For example, a student might consistently choose films in which male characters drive the action because those films align with what they are accustomed to seeing, without realizing that this habit reinforces the very pattern. In American cinema, women's representation remains disproportionately limited, restricting their creative power. In 2018, women accounted for only 8% of directors at the helm of the top 250 grossing films in the United States. down 1% from 1998, laws in 15. When a man's film fails, it's seen as a creative risk. When a woman's fails, it's used to justify not hiring women again. Usually her actions seem justified, as she is represented as a victim of male betrayal and thus deserves to have her retaliation. Version 16. The scorn woman archetype keeps female characters tied to male narratives. Both points illustrate how systematic bias creates a representing problem. Women are seen as risky hires, and female characters revolve around male betrayal. The industry's double standard limits women's creative freedom and reinforces systematic bias. Yet research shows that strong female leads can alter perceptions of women in power. For example, when a film directed by a man underperforms, it is often seen as a creative misstep. However, when a woman directs it, it is frequently used as evidence that women cannot handle large budgets and major productions. Furthermore, by portraying female opportunities to build connections with major studios. Female representation in film has evolved from initial stereotypes to more redefined, assertive portrayals, yet progressive remains uneven. Despite these constraints, research indicates that strong female protagonists may transform societal views. According to Akhtar and Mazul, powerful female leads can alter perceptions of women in power. If film can influence culture, it can also empower it. As the industry expands representation, it must recognize its role in shaping how young women see themselves and their potential. If film can influence culture, why shouldn't it be used to empower the next generation of women?